If you could tell us a little bit about the history, I'm sure that
Sure.
I would love to.
Sure. The history is a story of people, of men at the time, Robert Mondavi and Baron Philippe de Rothschild. Baron Philippe de Rothschild was married to an American woman. He was traveling and living in the US and California very often in the 70s. And he realized there was a great potential with Napa wine. So he started to go around and talking and trying to see what project he could do. And the name was coming all the time around the table was Robert Mondavi. And the truth is, Robert Mondavi started his business a few years before because he left or was pushed out from his family. And already 5 years later, he was like the man of promoting the Napa. And Robert Mondavi had a vision all the time, promoting Napa. If people come to Napa, they will come to see my wines. And when they met with the Baron Philippe de Rothschild, they had the same vision. But at the time, you were taking a lot of time. So discussions started in the early 70s. And it's only in 76 that the Baron said, I would love you to come to visit me in Bordeaux. I have a project I would like to discuss. He didn't say anywhere, anything. So when you are invited by the Baron, you cross the Atlantic.
Yes.
So Robert came with his daughter to Bordeaux, to Pauillac. They had great meetings first, but the meeting was more about social events, tasting, dinner, food, wine, but not about business. Finally, they met in the morning and they had a 1 hour meeting when they really decided we will do a project together. We will create a new wine in Napa, which will be the equivalent of a first course with Cabernet Sauvignon majority-based grapes.
Okay.
And what the Baron said, he said, I'm going to send you my winemaker, Lucien Ciano. And Lucien Ciano, 55, I think, at the time, didn't speak any word of English.
It was his first travel to
Exactly.
To
I think he didn't take a plane even before. And suddenly he arrived in Napa, meeting with Tim Mondavi, the young son of Robert. He was about 25, just graduated from UC Davis. And those two men, they had to go in the cellar, joining, because, okay, when you make a wine, normally what you do, you grow grapes, you do the vinification process. But here it was different. They took the best barrels from Mondavi and they started to blend the wine to give back the image of what Robert Mondavi and the Baron Philippe de Rothschild decided as a wine.
To materialize the vision.
Exactly. But after one day, they didn't agree on the style of wine they should do. So they had to go back for a second day. Second day is still a disaster. And I can guess that people were calling each other and say, what do we do now? Finally, the third day, apparently, arm to arm, at least it's the legend, they came back with a bottle, they put the bottle on the middle of the table, and they said, this is going to be the wine. The name of Opus One didn't exist at the time. There were crazy names like Napa Medoc or different things. It took many years to build the name of Opus One. It's the Baron who found, because he was a big fan of music, he said, okay, we should call it Opus. Apparently, they've been talking again with Robert Mondavi, and finally said, we're going to do only one wine. So we should call it Opus One. That was the beginning of the story.
Nice.
Selection was super small. 79, they did that selection from, as I said, the barrels, but super, super small. Then they came back with the second vintage, 80. So when in 84 they started to sell the wine to the market, they had so limited numbers of bottles of 79 that they decided to do a mixed case with 2 bottles of 79 and 4 bottles of 80. So the first case of Opus was made with 2 79 and 4 80.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
this is not for me.
This is very important. You can find full cases of 80. You will never find a full case of 79. And that was the beginning of the story. To make it short, they continued for almost 10 years doing this selection in the cellar.
Okay.
I'm sure they would continue to argue in each other, but at least they were pushing each other, challenging each other, and improving the quality. When, by the way, you test those back vintages, they are still showing very well. So I think they did an exceptional selection on the time. The Baron passed away in 88. Madame de Rothschild, the Baroness, came on board little by little, and then she was really engaged in the project. And with Robert Mondavi, they realized if they want to continue the project, they need to build the chateau concept. Meaning, you need a dedicated vineyard, and you need as well a place where you're making the wine, not anymore in the Robert Mondavi winery, but a dedicated. And so they started in 88 to build the winery, and the first vintage was 91.
Over there.
Yes.
One thing is that everybody says that it was very important for the Baroness to have this opportunity to interface with Robert Mondavi at that time, because she was so young and coming from the arts, going into the wine world and this kind of thing. And a lot of people tell me that he was kind of a mentor for her at that moment. And it gives another importance to Opus One as well, because it gives back to the origin. No?
It's probably true, because when she came to Bordeaux, when she came to Pauillac, which is not Bordeaux, from Paris, as you say, she was an artist, probably she couldn't change things quickly. And then she realized with Napa, the American way of doing the business, with this visionary as Robert Mondavi, she could build projects. So she really embraced that project. And you should remember there is a beautiful picture of the three of them, because there is the Baron, there is Madame de Rothschild, and there is Robert Mondavi, and you can really feel that passion.
They were very happy at that.
Yes, they were very happy. I'm sure there were a lot of challenges again, because you talk about a big ego in the wine business. Yes. But I think they were always thinking, let's build something for the long term. And the good thing is the potential was there. Tokanen Vineyard, we can talk about this today, was the center of the project. We were lucky as well to get those very specific parcels of wine coming from Mondavi. And little by little, we could took over.
Wine from Mondavi to compose the Opus One?
Yes. There's two parts. There's one part which is next to the winery, which has been purchased outside of Mondavi vineyard at the time. On the other side of the road, yes, it was taken over from some of the best parcels from Mondavi.
Well, Tokanen is kind of the holy grail for Cabernets Sauvignon.
Yeah, so, and still today. But we are so lucky to get that vineyard, I have to say.
And the way they built the wineries is very unique as well, because as I understand, the Baroness would like to have a chateau, kind of her home, outside home in Napa. Is that true?
It's true. It's even more than true that at the beginning they thought nobody will visit the winery. It was really a chateau concept. It was, she had a bedroom when she was supposed to come in Napa. By the way, I don't know if she stayed there or not. And little by little, the winery has changed, and now we are welcoming a lot of people, visitors. It's part of the DNA of Opus One. But you are right. At the beginning, it was a real chateau concept, very private, family identity regarding the atmosphere, regarding the wines.